Starting today, you're taking care of Jennifer's kid. Out of the blue, my husband shows up with Jennifer's 3-year-old. Jennifer is my sister-in-law. Why? Jennifer has been hospitalized. That's why I brought the kid. It would have been nice if my sister-in-law could have given me a heads up. I'm annoyed that my husband just decided this without consulting me. It would have been nice to get a heads up. Taking care of Richard is already a full-time job. Come on, you're a stay-at-home mom. What would ever be inconvenient for you? Jennifer is raising her kid alone. Can't you just be helpful for once without complaining? I understand Jennifer is going through a hard time raising her child alone since her divorce 2 years ago, so I'm speechless. My husband said she's going in for tests because they found something like cancer in her liver. That's really serious. I'll call Jennifer to see how she's doing. Wait. Why? She's busy getting ready for the hospital. Don't bother her, okay? Frustrated, I put down the phone. My husband, looking satisfied, thinks I've complied. Then he starts packing his suitcase. Michael, what are you doing? Did I not mention? I have a 2-week business trip starting tomorrow. You didn't mention it. Where are you going? Los Angeles. Business trips are such a drag. He says, yet somehow seems pleased about it. I bet he's relieved he doesn't have to take care of the kids. So you're saying I have to take care of Jennifer's child and Richard by myself? That's overwhelming. What if something happens? Jennifer will never forgive me. I suggest leaving the kids with my mother-in-law, but my husband says she's not well either. You're a stay-at-home mom with all day to yourself. What's the big deal with 1 or 2 more kids? That's not the point. Taking care of an energetic 5-year-old is already exhausting. Adding a 3-year-old girl to the mix, parenting is not a walk in the park, I was irritated by my husband's words, but I had no choice but to agree since I had already committed to taking care of the child. So begins a rather daunting 2 weeks. I just hope nothing happens. My name is Nancy, and I'm 35 years old. I married my husband, who is 3 years older, 8 years ago. We are blessed with a 5-year-old son, Richard, and live as a family of 3. My husband works in sales at a subsidiary of the company my father runs, and he might even take over the business someday. He used to take Richard and me to amusement parks on his day off. But for the past 3 years, he claims to be too busy with work, spending more weekends playing golf with clients. He also comes home late due to overtime. Although I'm not happy about it, there's not much I can say as a housewife. I'd rather be with someone who works than someone who doesn't. So I keep reminding myself that this is for the best. The next day, when I ask my husband if it's okay not to inform my sister-in-law about the child we are looking after while he's on a business trip, he says it's not necessary. Don't contact her. She can't answer calls in the hospital, and I don't want her to worry. Then I'll send her an email update. I said absolutely no contact. Stop overthinking it. Your job is to look after the child. Got it? Lately, my husband loses his temper easily, which wasn't the case before. Moreover, he often makes me feel inferior for being a housewife. Though it's frustrating, I bite my tongue, thinking it's not good to fight before his trip. I'm also worried about my mother-in-law's health. I'll take care of the child, but I'm also concerned about mother-in-law's health. My mom has dad to look after her. They don't need you to worry. Plus, why would my mom be pleased to have her daughter-in-law worry about her? Realize you're not liked. Am I disliked? That's shocking. Even though I've always felt welcomed by my in-laws and my sister-in-law, my husband's words sting like thorns in my heart. Was their kindness just a front? Suddenly, I felt really down. I wonder when my husband became so harsh. He doesn't show any concern for my feelings and acts as if nothing has changed. I'm leaving. Okay. Then, Lisa, my sister-in-law's child, runs in and waves, saying, Bye, Daddy! I freeze for a moment. Huh? Why did she say, Daddy? My husband's expression clouded for a moment, but he quickly regained his composure. Scratching his head, he mumbled to himself, Man, it's tough. To a little kid, I probably look the same as Jennifer's ex-husband. I don't think that's the case. I've only voiced the discomfort I've been feeling since last night. Ever since you brought her home yesterday, I've been feeling like her face has changed since the last time we met. Kids grow, their features change. Quit overthinking and focus on the housework. I have to go now. Don't want to miss the train. Make sure you look after the child. Feeling defeated, I watched my husband leave for his business trip. Little did I know, something unimaginable was about to happen. 5 hours later, my husband called me from his trip. I've arrived safely. I'm worried about Jennifer's child. Send me a picture of what you're feeding her. Okay, but why? Does she have an allergy? No, nothing like that. Just send pictures of every meal. Doing as he asked, I took pictures of my sister-in-law's child's meals and sent them. My husband then cast a strange suspicion on me. You're not mistreating her, are you? Why would I do that? You're not giving her much food. It's a normal amount for a 3-year-old. Easy for you to say. So, what did you do today? The usual, looking after the kids and doing housework. All right, I'll call you again later, he said, hanging up. It felt odd that he always asked what I had been doing. So I asked him why during one of his frequent calls. Why do you want to know what I've been doing? Because I'm worried. Is that really all? Yeah, that's it. He says that, but I get the feeling he's scrutinizing me. I hope I'm wrong. Then, a week into my husband's business trip, I got an unexpected call from my sister-in-law. Jennifer, are you feeling all right? Yes. Have you been worried? I've been wanting to call you. You wanted to see me that badly? Should I bring my daughter over to play with your child? Oh, are you busy? Sorry, we can reschedule. No, it's not that. Your daughter is already here, isn't she? What? You're joking, right? You're funny. I didn't think sister-in-law was lying. I told her to come over without explaining why, just to check on my suspicions. 2 hours later, sister-in-law arrives at my home with a child. You must be Richard's new friend. What's your name? To my surprise, sister-in-law greets the girl as if she's not her own daughter. Oh, you have the same name as my daughter. How interesting. I knew something was off. Sister-in-law looks at me puzzled as I stand there in disbelief. Michael told me that you've been in the hospital, so I've been taking care of your child in the meantime. I haven't been hospitalized. Sister-in-law's eyes widen in shock. After I tell her about my conversation with my husband and that he's on a business trip, her face turns red with anger. What is Michael thinking? So, whose child is this? Sister-in-law rants about her brother for a while and then seems to come to a decision. I won't forgive Michael for deceiving you, me, and Mom by making you think I was sick. We should look into him. When does he come back from his trip? In a week. Then let's get started. First, check all the pockets in Michael's suits. Okay. Upon rummaging through my husband's suit pockets as sister-in-law instructed, I find multiple crumpled up receipts. They're from a convenience store between my workplace and home. Why would he go there? It's out of his way. Those receipts don't prove anything. Where's Michael's bag? He took it on his trip. I see. After thinking for a moment, sister-in-law snaps her fingers. I've got it. Sister-in-law starts using my husband's personal computer. After a while, she grins. I thought so. Now, the real work begins. Make sure Michael learns his lesson through you, Nancy. After sister-in-law leaves, I continue to act oblivious, sending him pictures of our child eating 3 times a day, while secretly preparing for what's next. The day my husband is due to return finally arrives. The time to execute my plan has come. I place something on the table that I'm sure he'll want and head to a specific location. Where are you? Did I tell you I'm coming home today? Welcome home. Did you enjoy Hawaii? What? I'm currently at your mistress's condo. What? My husband stutters. I haven't cheated. Don't worry. The child is safe. I've delivered her to her real mother. We're talking right now. She's an old friend. I was just doing her a favor. I couldn't help but feel a little sorry for my husband, who still didn't get that it's too late for excuses. Look, I've gathered all the evidence. There's no point in lying anymore. The woman here also admitted that she had an affair with you. How did you find out? His voice suddenly quieted, revealing he lost state even without seeing his face. By the way, did you see the present I left for you on the table? What is this? It's divorce papers. You'll need them if you're going to live with your mistress. I've already signed it, so please file it as soon as possible. I could hear my husband's shaky voice on the phone, pleading that he doesn't want to leave me and wants to talk it over, so I told him to come up to the woman's condo right away. The moment he entered her apartment, his legs gave out. Jennifer, why are you here? He must have never imagined that my sister-in-law, Jennifer, would be here with me. His pitifulness was so over the top I almost laughed. So you cheated on her? And why did you lie and leave your child with her while you went on vacation with your mistress? Are you going to say it's a man's nature like my ex-husband did? My husband was taken aback by Jennifer's voice, which was filled with anger we'd never heard before. And he was rendered speechless because she'd hit the nail on the head. You lied to me about going on a business trip to Los Angeles and left the child, but Jennifer came to visit me with her daughter. She was far from sick. She was full of energy. So that's what happened. My mother-in-law's not sick either, right? Oh, don't even try to deny it. I verified that too. How did it come to this? I also know you've been calling every day to see if I found out about you cheating. I explained to my increasingly flustered husband how I discovered the location of his mistress's condo. At first, I noticed the receipt in your suit pocket. You've been making detours to the same convenience store almost every day after work. So you found this place with just that? Are you a detective? Of course not. I found piles of photos you've been sharing with your mistress when I checked her personal computer. His condo was in them. Was it a commemorative photo for buying the condo? I didn't buy it, I just rented it. You're a liar. I've already heard that you bought it for her since you can't acknowledge her child. She told you that much, huh? In truth, I already knew this from his mistress, but wanted to hear it from him. To be sure about the mistress's place, I also checked his usual Google Maps usage. All his past movements were recorded there. I found out my husband was vacationing in Hawaii instead of being on a business trip in Los Angeles, using this tracking feature. When I confronted him, his eyes widened in disbelief. Google Maps can do that? It's synced with your phone, honey. A little digging and I know your every move. Lucky for me, you didn't notice this feature. His face was flushed, clearly rattled. Funny enough, I learned about this feature from my sister-in-law. She got divorced 2 years ago due to her husband's affair. She showed me all the tricks she used, which helped me corner my cheating husband and his mistress. I could investigate without worrying about time because I'm a stay-at-home mom. You're bringing this up now. It felt good to land a little jab at my husband, who had always looked down on housewives. So armed with this info, I waited for the other woman, with her child, for her to return from her trip. When I showed them a picture of my husband kissing her in front of their condo, other residents started staring, so she quickly let us in to avoid the spectacle. Once inside, I laid out the evidence. Cornered, she confessed to the affair. I also got a bombshell piece of info from her. Lisa isn't your child. That's impossible. Do a DNA test if you want. I don't mind, go ahead. She's the one who doesn't want it. What? What do you mean? It was a hunch, but since the child didn't look like my husband, I asked her for a DNA test and she readily admitted Lisa wasn't his. My husband was so shocked he couldn't speak. Men are so easily deceived. How ridiculous that he raised her thinking she was his own. Time for us to go. You're never stepping foot in our house again. I'll send your belongings here. I don't need you to send my stuff. I'll break up with her. A divorce will screw up everything for me. You have nothing to worry about. You're going to get me fired, aren't you? I won't be able to become the CEO. Finally, he was clinging to me. He works for a subsidiary of my father's company, but doesn't realize I have no say in personal matters. No matter how much he begged, my mind was made up. Do you want to take this to court and make it expensive? We can work this out. The phrase, let sleeping dogs lie, comes to mind. Instead, I delivered the final blow. You and her will pay compensation, and this condo is in your name, so it's marital property. I'll take half. Also, you'll pay $500 per month for Richard's child support. Our old condo won't be a part of the asset division. My parents bought it for us before we married. Then I'll be left with nothing. Better keep your job then. Good luck finding a new one if you don't. Goodbye, and good luck to you and her. I left the condo with my sister-in-law, leaving behind my dejected husband and his affair partner. What a whirlwind day it was, but I'm glad I exposed my husband's deceit. After that, I got in touch with the lawyer my sister-in-law recommended and finalized the divorce, securing both alimony and child support. My husband and his affair partner split up almost immediately. They tried selling the condo, but they couldn't get the price they bought it for and ended up drowning in debt. On top of that, my husband, who was always unreliable at work, got fired. Last I heard, he's working in waste management but is still up to his neck in debt. His affair partner tried to reconcile with the father of her child, but that didn't work out either. Raising a child on your own is tough, but she really needs to step up and fulfill her responsibilities as a parent. After the divorce, I sold the apartment my parents had bought for me and moved back into my childhood home. Now the kids are genuinely enjoying their days, running around the spacious backyard. We'll walk towards a happy future watched over by my parents.